Well, typically we find it's a couple of different ways. The first type of organization that doesn't have any testers, formal testers, they usually have their developers who are doing the coding, doing the unit testing, and doing the QA. The other type of client is they do have testers, they employ testers, full-time employees, but and they do have process, but they're looking for more process or streamlining that process to make it more efficient and effective. Metrics tend to be overlooked in the QA process, but they're very important. They do add a lot of value to the current project that you're working on, and also as the IT organization as a whole. So when I think of metrics, I think of effective and accurate defect tracking, and I do that by identifying or categorizing all the defects by defect type. So there's all different kinds of defect types. Typically, when you think of QA, we're just testing the code, and everyone is just thinking, oh, how many bugs are in the code, which is very important and important to track. But there are other defect types like environment. Maybe you have infrastructure issues. There could be defects related to test planning, test preparation. Maybe the test cases are incorrect. You want to make sure you go back and update those. Here's what metrics can tell you. It's going to help you identify high-risk systems that have a lot of coding issues in them. That's going to help you plan for the next time you go to do a maintenance release or an enhancement. You're going to know, I need to focus on this particular system more so than on another. Metrics also tell you how your developers are performing, right? I know how many bugs developer A had versus developer B, so it can help point out resource issues or training issues for those resources. And so I can give you an example of how we use metrics, or how metrics helped a process improvement for a client that I'm working with right now, where we found that in creating new virtual machines for our end users and our testers, there was no one place for a help desk person to go and reference and know, okay, this particular users need access to these certain systems and these certain areas on the network drives. They have mappings and all of that. So what we found was that we're having to log multiple issues related to hardware and environment. And instead of sending that help desk person out one time to resolve the issue for the user, they were having to go back many, many times, which obviously is an inconvenience and draws out your project timelines, really. So what we're able to identify through the use of the metrics are all of the touch points that a particular user would need, and in setting up a new virtual machine. So then we created this entire checklist that help desk person would be able to go through and just run it down and know exactly what that particular user needed.